How long do employers take to review a resume? 30 seconds. 22. I need to have everyone's attention, please. We have officially started. Excuse me. If we need to get started, because we do have a full schedule of stuff tonight. This is an important session. So Square Cap's running. How long does it take employers to review a resume? Please submit your response. While that's happening, I do want to make an announcement. Okay. So if I can have everybody's attention. Do you want to know what someone with initiative looks like? One person? Do you want to know what a professional looks like? Do you want to know what a leader looks like? Do you want to know what a badass looks like? I give you Lauren E. Rodriguez. Lauren, first of all, I want to know what your middle name E stands for, but tell everybody here your major, your hometown, and what school or college you're from.
Hi, I'm Lauren Rodriguez. The E stands for my middle name, Esperanza. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Yeah. Right now, my major will be considered unspecified business, but I'm looking at either marketing or management information systems.
What's your year? She's Texas 20. She's your class. She is part of this cohort. So Lauren accepted my challenge. She sent an email to Robert Rodriguez. She sent an email to the El Rey Network, and guess what happened? I got a reply. She got a reply from the Vice President of Brand and Corporate Development for the El Rey Network. She sent me an email, and she said, call me on the phone. The next day, I'm at my apartment, 6 o'clock, enjoying a glass of wine with my dinner, and I make a phone call. I spent 2 hours on the phone with the vice president of a national television network because of her. Power. Power. If one student can send an email and make a difference, imagine 500. Imagine 5,000. Imagine 500,000. So on this phone call, I talked about my high school experience with Robert Rodriguez, talked about his film career, him as an artist, about my childhood, about my mixed race identity. And it was kind of funny. The vice president, she asked for one of my lecture videos to know a little bit more about what ULN is about and what we've been doing last semester. And I laughed at this. She was asking me all these personal questions. It was weird. She goes, how come you don't have any babies? And I'm like, it just hasn't happened yet. That's the comfort level we started getting to, because she realized that she agrees with this. And she wanted to do something with that. We got connected with other people because of that. One of them being Charles Ramirez Berg, University Distinguished Teaching Professor. the Joe M. Dealey Senior Professor in Media Studies, a Board of Regents Outstanding Teacher for the Department of Radio, Television, and Film here at UT Austin. I just expanded my professional network because of her. I now have a connection to a vice president of a national television network and a distinguished professor and outstanding teacher here at UT Austin. That's networking. So, talks are happening. They told me he's busy filming a movie right now. He may not be able to come out this semester to speak. He may be able to film a short video. Maybe I can show at the end of the semester. Or maybe something will happen next year. I don't know. But it started. They know about us now. They know about us. So I'm expecting you, Laura, to find me on LinkedIn. Put a request out there so we can connect with that. I'm expecting that you may be even forming your own connections with these folks. I see internship at the El Rey Network. They're probably going to take you up on that. They know who she is now as well, a freshman at UT who had the guts to send a professional, very professional email. She ran it by me first. I had like 2 edits, grammar, a misspelling for fast fingers. She nailed it. She nailed it. So that's all because of Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate it. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Okay, I don't know if you showed up tonight. I'm going to be introducing you to some of the other ULN staff before we get into this internship process. So you'll meet Kyle Clark, our experiential learning coordinator. Most of you probably have seen Jeff in the office already, who's going to be your coordinator next year and help you through that internship process as well. Dr. Smith, who handles some of the campus partner stuff as well. Because starting tonight, we are focusing on the internship process. And without any further delay, because that took up some time this session, I want to introduce Veronica Heiskell. She's from the Vic Center. She's going to be talking about resumes. You should probably be taking some notes on this stuff, seriously. You're going to be applying this during your peer groups. The handouts that you have, if there were not enough, they are posted on the peer group assignment for this week as well. So I'm going to hand it off to Veronica. Enjoy your session. Thank you.
All right.
You can leave that running if you just want to click on that.
Cool. All right, how are we doing tonight? Yay. Okay, so shockingly, y'all got this question. You did a good job. We'll cover this in the presentation. So, how many of you have heard of the Vic Center? Yay, every year we do this and a few more people have seen it. That's exciting. So, we in the Vic Center, for those of you who haven't heard of us, work with all students, undergrad and grad students, in exploring your major and career options. Why I'm here today is because, one, I benefit immensely from my current ULN intern and my previous ULN interns, and two, part of our mission is to help you get to try things out and see the power of getting internships and how that helps you know what it is you ultimately want to do. So to get that, you generally need a resume. So we're going to be talking about resumes very in depth today. I apologize. This is not the most fun topic, but I think y'all will hopefully get a lot out of it. I know we're a big group, but I still encourage you to ask questions. I'll stick around a little bit afterwards, too, to answer any questions you might have. But first, we'll do a very quick quiz. I'm not, this is just verbal. So these are all true or falses. So true or false, resumes list all of your experiences, skills, and education. False. Why is it false? Someone. Yeah.
You only want to use your experience and skills that are specified for the job or internship you want.
Yeah, you want things to be relevant. Great job. So sadly, we usually can't fit all of the things we've done in our lives on one page, right? Or on 2 pages. So, that limits us. Oh, true or false, there's no standard way to write a resume? How many think true? By show of hands. A few. How many think false? Okay, lots of abstainers there, not sure. Someone who thinks true, tell me why. Yeah.
I think everyone's experiences are different, and like certain way you can order them. I mean, on the top, of course, you have your name and contact information, but
Yeah.
right, like flip around it, and then put whatever the like employer or more interested in and run.
Yeah, so you think like, it kind of depends. It's not always going to look the same. Well, shockingly, that's true. There is absolutely no standard way. How many of you have had to write a resume before today? Great. How many of you have asked people for advice and gotten conflicting advice from people? Yeah, exactly. Resumes are subjective. I'm going to give you some basic tips that are pretty true for most resumes. But again, this is a subjective process. That's why on the handout we gave you, there are actually 3 different resumes on there. So you can see that there really is not one correct way. Number 3, y'all already got this. Employers actually spend about 6.5 seconds glancing at your resume. Now, for this ULN process, the employers are going to spend more time. When I look at your resumes, I'm going to spend at least a couple of minutes reading through them to see who I'm going to interview. So for this process, it's not as cutthroat, but it's still important that we really make sure that the most important stuff is at the top of your resume to make sure that the person is going to actually read it, right? True or false, resume should be 1 or 2 full pages. How many think true? Okay, a few people think true. How many people think false? Again, lots of abstainers. All right, fair enough. So, why do we think, how many of you have heard that it can only be 1 page? At some point. Okay, so this is true for all of you in this room at this moment. Your resume that you're taking to the ULN Fair really should only be 1 page. But you're going to notice that depending on the industry you end up going into, especially if it's in education, for example, that a 2-page resume can actually be totally acceptable. So in many industries like business, for example, really 1 page is the norm. But it's important for you to know your industry and what they require. And finally, true or false, the purpose of a resume is to get a job. How many of us think true? And how many think false? So a few more for false. Yeah, a resume gets you an interview. That's our whole goal. So, what typically goes on a resume? We're going to shout this out. What typically goes on it? Your name, some way to contact you ideally, yeah? Experiences, education, skills. Anything else? Accomplishments. Yeah. Activities, like clubs, orgs, that kind of stuff. Definitely. Anything else you can think of? Yeah. So leadership positions, especially. Scholarships, fellowships, grants. Yeah. So there's many different items that can go on your resume. These are a very short list of those, but on your resume handout on page 2, you'll actually see sort of an in-depth analysis. Only 3 of these are absolutely necessary. And that's your contact info, your education, and your experience. Everything else is going to depend on what you're applying to and whether or not it makes sense for you to talk about it. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. So, how many of you are sitting in this room? We're all first-year students here, right? How many of you are thinking to yourself, I have no idea what I'm going to put on this resume? Like straight up. Yeah, that's pretty normal. My freshman resume was real bad. I'd worked at a cheese shop, and that was about it. It was bizarre. So for those of you who feel like you don't have a lot of experience, there's an important concept, I think, that helps you figure out what actual experience do I have. Because, right, you need to get an internship to get other internships. And you're all going to get some kind of activity for next year, which is really exciting. So those skills that we're talking about, those key things that most employers are looking for, are right here. They're what we call transferable skills. Has anyone heard of a transferable skill before? Yeah. What do you think a transferable skill is? How would you define it? Okay, so it's something that you learn in one setting, you can apply to in many other settings. So, how many of you have done food service before? Sweet, we'll use that example. So, what's a place someone worked? Just to give some context. Pluckers, okay, I heard pluckers. So, let's think, many of us have probably been to a Pluckers or at least understand the concept of a restaurant, right? So thinking about someone who worked at Pluckers, what types of skills do you think they might gain? For example, is it a really chill job? Just sitting around, hanging out? It's super busy, right? It gets slammed. So it's a fast-paced environment. You had your hand raised in the back? Yeah, so professional speaking, effective communication. What else might come? Multitasking. What else? Yeah. Working as a team, right? So for those of us who worked in a restaurant, if you're taking an order, you still have to communicate with the back of house to make sure it's actually happening. Maybe you have customers that are upset. You have to deal with upset customers. There's a ton of skills you gain just in a position that a lot of people are like, well, I just work there because I need money, right? But there are a lot of ways to talk about it. So instead of saying, I flipped burgers, you can talk more in depth about the key skills you gained doing that position. So I want each of you to turn to the person next to you and help each other brainstorm at least one transferable skill from, it could be a club or organization, part-time job you had, that you're just like, I don't really know how I'm going to write about this. So pair up, and I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to talk about it. All right, let's wrap up the conversations for now.